Hello everyone, this is Jesse Reddy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll discuss about transaction points in LoadRunner. Here transaction points means to measure the response time of a particular user action. There are two ways we can insert the transaction points in LoadRunner. The one is during recording, the other one is after completing the recording. We have few functions in the transaction points. The one is LR underscore start underscore transaction. Here we have to provide the transaction name. Here LR underscore start underscore transaction represents beginning of the action or transaction. The same way we have a LR underscore end underscore transaction. Here we have to provide the transaction name and LR underscore auto. Here LR underscore end underscore transaction represents end of the transaction or a action here. Okay. Here LR underscore auto contains whether the transaction got pause, fail, error or stop. If we give LR underscore auto, the tool will decide whether the transaction is paused, failed, error or stopped. If you give specific LR underscore pause, that means the transaction got paused here. Okay. If you give LR underscore fail, the transaction got failed. The same way, whatever status you need for this specific transaction, then we have to provide here those details. Okay, the next one is how to insert the transaction points during recording. Okay, before recording the script, first we should require scenario. For that scenario, we should require the call flow here. Okay, let's take a simple call flow. Okay, I am going to take web application here. For that web application, I have given three steps for the call flow. Those are all home page, login and logout. This is my simple call flow. For this simple call flow, let me record the script, and during the script recording, I am going to insert the transaction points. Okay, let's open the Vision here. Okay, go to File, New Script and Solution. Select the web protocol. Why? Because my call flow is web application related call flow here. Select the protocol, then click on Create button. Here we can select the record button. Click on this record button. It opens the pop-up. Okay, this pop-up we already discussed in the previous video. Okay, for time being, just we can provide the URL in the URL address. Okay, my application URL is localhost colon 1080. It's a web tours application. Then click on start recording. As soon as you click on start recording, it opens your browser. We can see the recording events are increasing. Okay, if the events are increasing, then your recording is as expected here. Still loading. Once it's load properly, then only we can insert the transaction points. Okay, now my home page is launched successfully here. Then insert the transaction point during recording. Okay, there is a option called insert transaction here. Click on this, then provide the transaction name. Here my transaction name is login. Okay, then click on OK. Then provide the user ID and password. My user ID is Jojo here. The password is bean, BEAN. Then click on login. That means once operation is done, then you have to end the transaction. Still it is loading here. Once it's loaded successfully, then you can end the transaction. This is my end transaction. Insert end transaction here. Select this transaction name. That means I have inserted the transaction point for the login. The same way you can insert the transaction point for the sign off. Select this and enter the transaction name. Okay, click on OK. As soon as insert start transaction, it should be enable the end transaction here. Then once you do sign off, then click on and still it is processing. Now it got signed off. Then click on end transaction. Once you have recorded the script, then you have to stop the recording here. Yeah, the script is generating. It will take some time to generate the script here. Once the script generation is done, we can see the script. Okay, in the script we can see transaction points. Still code is generating here. Go to action.c file here. Okay, we can see the transaction points. Okay, this is the lr underscore start underscore transaction. My transaction name is login. Okay, here I have given the username and password. Then I have entered the transaction. Here my transaction is lr underscore end underscore transaction. My transaction name is login and it has lr underscore auto. Why? Because during recording we have inserted the transaction points. That's why once the recording is done, we can see the same transactions in the script. The same way we can see the sign off transaction. This is lr underscore start underscore transaction, then sign off. This is lr underscore end underscore transaction, sign off. Okay, this is the during recording we can insert the transaction points. The same way we can do the transaction points insertion after completing the recording also. For example, for home page, we didn't insert any transaction point during recording. Now after completing the recording, I am going to insert the transaction manually here. My start transaction is lr underscore start underscore transaction. Then provide the transaction name. My transaction name is home page. Transaction name is home page. The same way we can insert the end transaction. Here end transaction is lr underscore end underscore transaction. Then we have to provide the transaction name here. My transaction name is home page. Okay, we have to give the same transaction name in the end transaction, comma lr underscore auto. Here lr underscore auto means whether this transaction is pass, fail, error or stop. Okay, like that we have to insert the transaction point after the completion of the script recording. Okay, like these are all the transaction points. Okay, then like and subscribe for more performance testing concepts. Also, please provide genuine comments to get the better performance testing related videos.